See on Raadio 2.
Internetis r2.ee.
Welcome to Stand-Up Comedy with Lewis and Stewart. We are here in the best city in Estonia, Tartu. How you doing, Lewis?
Tartu, yeah, it's great. I'm really happy to be here.
You look happy to be here?
I'm always happy to be in Tartu. It's a sunny day. All right, I'm happy to be here. It's
what I always say is Tartu rocks and Tallinn sucks.
Oh, very good, Stewart Johnson. You managed to drag me here for 1 week. All right, fine. Yeah. Although Tartu wasn't so bad. I was here 2 days ago, and I left my laptop in the bar when I left. Within 10 minutes, some random guy had messaged me on Facebook. Oh, hey, Lewis, your laptop's in the bar. You want to come and get it? I don't know who this guy is.
Seriously?
Yeah, he just knew who it was. He saw me sitting in the bar. And
that would only happen in Tartu, of course, because people are good here. You know, they're not like these people in Tallinn. Within 5 minutes of you leaving your laptop, it would have been dissected and resold on the black, hidden in a pothole somewhere.
The message would have been, I have your laptop with me. If you want to see it again in one piece, you will send rubles to me.
Send rubles. I don't think a very large amount of rubles would pay for your laptop. I've seen it.
No, it's not good. Yeah, because you have exactly the same one. That's why Stuart and I have matching laptops. By the way, it's super cute. We're working together.
When I think of Tallinn though, and think of like potholes at the same time, I think of the newest word in Estonian that I've learned recently, megahid sitauk. It just, I don't know, it just goes together.
What does that mean? I don't
know. Super massive shithole. Don't ask me where I learned
These potholes, they're getting pretty big in Tallinn. They're like so big they've got their own names now, in fact.
Really?
Yeah. Finnish tourists are coming. They come with a bus and they get to see the potholes and throw money in and hope that communism doesn't come to Finland either.
So Estonians name snowstorms and potholes.
That's right. That's what we've got.
And they're all named Tina.
Right. They're so big they're actually growing pot in the pothole, I think. They're literally potholes these days.
These potholes are turning into amoebas and just sprouting off little potholes on the side or something. Had to make a biology joke. So what?
You love it. What did I do? I came from the thing is I came from Riga, via Riga because we did the Eddie Izzard documentary down there this week. We screened that,
and how'd that go?
It was good because we actually had the director Sarah Townsend herself came all the way to Riga just for that, and she was like, oh, I don't know what to expect. It's Eastern Europe. It's crazy, and we had a really nice time. She's a charming, lovely lady, and later on the show, I've got an interview that I did with her. It's a little bit long. It's right at the end. It's 15 minutes, but it's a really nice little interview about the movie and her inspiration, how you make a movie, and how do you get like a guy like Eddie Izzard to open up, and like how do you get inside that, because he is a little bit like it's hard to get inside the character.
It's
of Eddie
basically
Izzard.
like a behind the scenes thing about working with a megastar.
Yeah, I guess so, but
in
it's really about it's like how do you bring that out in a movie? So rather than just like, tell me something about Eddie, it's more like how do you capture that on screen?
I really look forward to hearing that then.
It's a nice one. But yeah, it was cool. I had a good time. Because in Riga, every time I go, I haven't seen Riga in sunshine for about 2 years. The place seems grey. And I discovered this whole new section. Like, I thought Riga was a shithole. And in fairness, often it is.
Megahid.
Right, exactly. Yeah. There's a whole section, there's a whole area that's nice in Riga. And every Estonian person I've said this to just looks at me with shock, like, really?
The same look I'm giving you right now?
Really? There's a nice area in Riga? This is unbelievable.
You were actually in Riga?
Right, I was actually in Riga. I wasn't sure. It wasn't just vulgar and I'm going, hey, I'm close enough. No, it was really nice. I had this hotel and I had that thing that when you get someone new from the airport, I had to go get Sarah from the airport. If you never met them before, it's always a little bit like, oh, who are they? Oh, I don't want to be really dicky and hold the signboard up. So I just did it. And at one stage, like, it took a really long time for her to come through. Like, I've got Google Images open, like, of pictures of her going, what does this Sarah woman look like? Could this one be her? Could this one be her? Like, when Dylan Moran came here, they lost his luggage. So he was super delayed. And I found myself standing there at the arrivals airport going, I wonder if I've forgotten what Dylan Moran looks like. Mm-hmm. Could that be Dylan Moran? He's kind of older, much older, and a woman now, but that could be Dylan Moran coming through.
I think in this case you would really benefit from wearing Google Glass.
Right, okay, you love the Google Glass. You're all about that stuff, aren't you, Stu?
Oh, yeah, privacy control and stuff.
You want that? You could have that on your glasses right now, just attach it there.
Yeah, it's like a little clip-on or something.
Right,
you
okay.
You don't even have to wear glasses. You just clip it onto your own.
Wow, that'd be, you could film the great day of Stewart Johnson, reading the newspaper, sitting at the computer.
I don't know about that. I think I would be like, I think supposedly you can browse Facebook with movements of your eyes or something.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Update.
Scan.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just like you're basically Facebook stalking a girl that you're looking at in real life.
Nice.
And she doesn't know it, except for the big black box on your glasses.
Oh,
that
okay,
makes you look like a total dick.
You look like the Borg or something like that.
Yeah.
Resistance to Google Glass is futile, I believe. Yeah. What about porn? That's what we really haven't gone there with Google Glass yet. Can I just sit there and watch porn all day long?
I can't wait to get assimilated.
That's great. I just sit there. Yeah, honey. That's great. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, sorry, what were you saying? Oh, good. Yes, good. Oh, with you.
Stand-up comedy Star Trek quotes with Lewis and Stewart.
Oh my God, it's too much. We're gonna go to our first song, and then afterwards we're gonna be back. Welcome back to Stand-up comedy with Lewis and Stewart here on Radio 2.
Radio 2 is the place to be in Tartu these days. I love it here. It's so much nicer than in Tallinn because Tartu rocks and Tallinn...
Suckus.
Exactly.
Oh, thanks, Stuart. Wow. I'm learning the ways of Stuart Johnson here. Yeah. This is amazing, everyone. Now, joining us in the Tartu studios, we have two improv guys. So we're stand-up guys. We get up there on our own and tell our jokes. And we've got improv guys, and they get up there in a group, and they make stuff up in the moment with a structure. And they're from Improkraatia, and we've got Tormi Tuling and Andres Kalle. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, we're fine.
Good.
Nice, nice. So, yeah, you guys get up there and you don't... I mean, how does improv work? You're making stuff up, but what, just out of nowhere or what? Like,
pretty much like, have you seen Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Sure.
Yeah. So we basically do the
But there's some inspiration, though. Like,
yeah, we ask for inspiration and then we make stuff up on the spot.
Okay,
it's like audience participation.
Yeah, we can also use audience members. Like, we ask them on the stage and do stuff with them.
How does that go with Estonians? Doesn't that petrify
Actually,
the hell
it
out
goes really well.
Okay, good.
Well, that's not so surprising because we had our doubts about when we started stand-up comedy as well.
Sure, in general, yeah.
And people liked it.
Because the Russian guys, they had, when they did the comedy show, they had people on stage. And that was, we always thought, oh, maybe that's because Russian people are better at it. But, oh, okay, maybe that's the next step, sure. You need to get someone up.
Maybe Estonians aren't that different from Russians after all.
Whoa. This is blasphemous material. They're going to shut us down for saying these sort of things.
Hey, I'm just an equal opportunity discriminator.
That's what he does. So, boys, okay, so, and you came along to our Merku open mic the other night on Wednesday, and I believe, I wasn't there, I was in Riga, but it was a good time,
right?
Yeah,
it was really good. Yeah, I hosted the show. I was pleasantly surprised at what they did.
You impressed the Johnson. The Johnson is impressed.
No, they did a really good job. They got a lot of applause that night. It was a fun time.
Nice. So take us through. So what we want to do now is we're a couple of old school stand-ups. So we're like, oh my God, I must think and write my jokes and think very carefully about everything that I'm going to say. So you boys, you need to take us through the structure, or how do we help us be in the moment? What can we do? What's something we can do?
Just don't think.
Don't think. Okay, so what's something we can do right now here in the studio?
Yes and.
Yes and. Okay.
Yes and is the main principle.
Right, okay.
You accept what have said and make something more of it.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Stewart Johnson?
I did.
Good. He's learning, okay.
A good idea is not to go into it with like a bunch of ideas, but go in with a blank mind and then like whatever your partner says, just listen to it and then build everything.
That's good because my mind is very blank, so that's good. Okay.
So
right, so
like
listen and respond. All right, that's it.
The analogy I'm thinking of is a relay race, where somebody just gives you the torch or baton and you just run with it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So we've got to go with that, be in the moment, just go with the first thing that comes into our heads.
And usually like, before the show we do some warm-up to get the mind running.
Right. Yeah, I like you guys because you're in a group, you're being happy, going, warm up, woo. Stand-ups, we're in the corner with our beer going, fuck off, I'm sad, leave me alone. So I like how you guys are kind of happy and stuff. Like,
yeah, we're always happy.
You're always happy every moment of the day. So what can we do? Let's play a little game here. What's the game?
We can do a little game called One Word Story.
Yeah.
Okay,
we should make up a story right on the spot here.
Right, okay.
So we need inspiration from somewhere.
Let's
from the audience.
Let's take like a random word.
Okay.
I have a pen here.
A pen.
Let's make it a pen.
Story about a pen. Okay.
So let me start. It's very simple. We can only say one word, and we have to build up a story.
Okay.
Once
upon
a
pen
was
a
man
who
lived
in
the
city
called
Russianburg.
This
wasn't
awesome,
but
he
penned
this
note
about
donkeys
with
a
huge
stapler.
Hey,
what
are
those
donkeys
doing
with
my
stapler?
Asked
the
girls
with
A.
Smile.
And
Money.
The.
Donkeys.
procrastination.
Something.
Very.
Happily.
Ever.
After.
Done.
All right.
Scene.
I don't think I'm that good at this. I'm just throwing words out of it.
Well, no, you
With
went...
donkey's procrastination?
You did that, Stuart. You went mind blank. It's
the
okay.
basic idea here is you have to listen what everybody says and
Okay.
try to make up the logical word.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
just to clarify, the reason I said donkey's procrastination was I was imagining the carrot in front of him. Like, oh, I'll get the carrot.
Oh, okay, right.
That's,
yeah.
There is some logic to my
The
thinking.
donkey's
Not much, but
procrastination was amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more. Let's try and speed up. So pen, sunshine.
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 No.
That's
I want to start with the word
Oh.
Edgar.
Edgar. Okay, let's make a
Edgar,
story
okay.
about Edgar.
I'll start. Edgar.
Was.
big.
Fat.
Guy.
Who?
Liked.
Tallinn.
Very.
Much.
He.
Had.
Money.
And
Power.
Golfing.
Was.
his.
Passion.
And
He.
Also
Would.
steal.
From.
the.
Poor.
People.
Hey.
Edgar.
Why?
Would.
You.
Steal.
From.
Your.
People.
Asked.
Preet.
I don't know the guy's last name.
It's Toba.
I'm sorry. I tried to set it up. I'm sorry. I broke the rule. I was trying to set it up.
I think we got the point with that story. though.
Stu, you're good. You're good.
It's all right. No, we're getting there. It's all right. We need some coaching. We need some practice. It's all right.
So maybe we can try another game.
Okay,
also.
sure.
It's called Two Heads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're playing two characters with four people. Mm-hmm. So maybe Tormi and I will speak at the same time.
Okay.
And you
you-
guys speak one word at a time, but you're like the one person.
Right. Okay. So we'll say a word to try and make a collection of sentences or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
one person
Yep.
together, but you can only speak one word at a time.
Right. Okay.
We are one person.
Uh-huh.
And we can speak only together.
Together.
Oh.
At the same
time.
time.
My name is Stewart. Stewart and Lurt.
This is an odd Star Trek plot. I think we've had a transporter accident. I think.
Stewart.
It sounds like a Latvian name. Stewart. Stewart Lewis.
Stewart Lewis.
All right. Let's go along.
Suck
What do
my
we do?
11th finger.
Okay, so what's the scene about?
Let's make it about Tallinn.
About Tallinn. Okay.
Hello.
Kitty. That's the first thing that comes to mind with Tallinn. I'm not sure exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
You're speaking one word at a time.
One word
Yeah,
at a time.
but you guys each do one word at the
No,
same time, and then
we speak at the same exact time. You,
You
say
do like
like,
the previous
hey,
game.
my name is Stewies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he and I were somehow supposed to come up with the same word at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's their job. That's
our
the
job.
challenge in the game.
Leave it to the professionals.
All right, let's try it again.
Okay.
Let's make it about Riga this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Riga, little boys.
It
Has
been pleasure
having
the
comedians
drive
by
into
drive by into Riga.
Hey, I know you. You were at my home last night.
yes
We
were
drinking
some
milk
which
in
Latvian
sounds
like
penis.
That was really funny.
That's
that's not
what
She
said.
God, we're still going for punchlines here. We can't escape punchlines.
Oh, you are still drunk from last night.
This
Has
many
aspects
that
we
think
about
often.
Like what?
Drunkenness
sex,
and
politics,
are
compatible.
in
Rigo.
Yay! Sit down. All right, thanks a lot, guys. That was fun. Okay, we did that. Now we're going to go to a stand-up clip. We're going to have 3 clips this show. This is the man who is coming next Wednesday to Thailand, Eddie Izzard. We've been lots of preparations. He's coming. This is from his last special, I believe, it's the Madison Square Garden one. And this is his thoughts on updates and iTunes. This is Eddie Izzard.
Eddie.
On the very sexy computers, like the Macintosh computer, I have an Apple Macintosh computer, very sort of touchy, sexy feely, and you open it up, and in the old days, porn would take forever to download. Do you remember that? Friends tell me. Friends who can spell porn. It was that picture would come, you go, what is this? Is cat porn. This is a picture of a cat, which is a picture of a cat. But nowadays, you're just tip-tapping away and a little box comes up. Would you like a software update? And you go, yeah, one of those. It's like a latte thing. Yeah, why not? And then time becomes a different thing. Time becomes weird as it downloads. 5 minutes to download, 4 minutes to download, 3 minutes to download, 9 minutes to download, 2 minutes to download, 7 hours to download, 6 seconds to download, a light year to download. And then it starts asking you questions. Like, you sign a new agreement with iTunes. And I've signed many agreements with iTunes. I don't know what they want from me anymore. Surely they know I agree with them. I'm there, you know. Why do they keep checking like I'm going to go away? No, I no longer agree with you. We all agree. And they've made us liars. You can't say to children, don't lie. Well, you said you've read the terms and conditions. You check. No one has read the terms and conditions. No one in the world. No one. Even the lawyers who wrote it like this. It could say anything in there. We will take your buttocks and sell them to Chinese. Yes. Set fire to your hedges. Why not? Put your knee in a sling. Yeah, give me the fuck. Because you're in go fever at that point. Come on. Give me the update, because it could be that one update. That one update will make your life complete. You know, like the Willy Wonka golden chocolate thingy with the... where you update, yes, and then sex with everyone and free chickens for life. Whether they want to come or not. But then it downloads, and you have to do a reboot thing, which is basically getting ready to go to the seaside with your bucket and spade, the engine on, and your dad says, come on, everyone out of the car. What? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Everyone back in the car. Back in the car. We're just going. What the fuck was that? So, yes, and then you update the whole thing, and nothing's changed, which is a bit weird and annoying. If you have a PC computer, I think it's a similar thing. You press the on button, and then there's a crank. You have to crank it. And then, okay, contact, and they spin the propeller, and you get in. Come on, the PC's going now. And you put on a 78 record. Move the horn around.
Welcome to Stand Up Comedy with Lewis and Stewart. We are back here in the studio in Tartu.
Yeah, we got the guys here. Tormi, Andres, how are you? Cool. We having fun?
Good. We're still good.
Still good? Okay.
Still laughing.
That was fun. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming in and showing us how to be in the moment. You guys are great. So we thought you could stick around and tell some jokes. We're going to talk about some news, and I've been poring over the newspaper the last couple of days. I love this stuff.
I've just been reading science news. Because,
that's all you do. Because you're a geek.
Really care about
Nerd.
Come on, man. Bullying's for idiots. That's not very nice.
Are they putting in teddy bears? I read they're getting teddy bears from Denmark to help kids not be bullied.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know. I'm not quite understand because that's...
Wait, who do they give the teddy bear to?
Right.
The bully or the...
No one's going to bully a kid with a teddy bear. That's never happened before. Here, 11-year-old boy. It's like Daniel Weinberger's walking around school with a teddy bear or something, I think.
Your kid comes home from school and he's crying like, what happened? You hit me in the head with a teddy bear. What was in the teddy bear? Rocked.
Now, I like this story that I read. There's a guy on a construction site in Tallinn, and he had the tractor, like the full backhoe tractor, like these big-ass ones, and he drove it onto the pond, which had frozen over, and lo and behold, it fucking sank to the bottom of the pond. What? Right, yeah, really? This thing. So... It's a 15-ton backhoe, right? And this guy's, you know what? I need to really get to that spot. The ice. That will be fine. So the thing, it's taken 20 minutes for this motherfucker to sink, and he hasn't noticed in 20 minutes. Like water's coming up to his feet, and he's like, "Oh, really? Really? Is this the thing? I can't."
Maybe I'm sweating a lot today.
Maybe, yeah. Oh my god, these pools are minus 15. I'm really sweating a lot here. How drunk do you have to be for this to happen?
It is one of those cases like, I didn't know I was pregnant. His water breaks when he's in the I didn't know I was a man or a woman either.
Now there's this friggin' backhoe at the bottom of a pond in Tallinn. Like the thing's 3 meters deep, right? It's up to the roof of the cabin. They don't know how to get out. Like, how do you do that? You don't call
Did the guy get out of the cabin?
He got out. That was
Damn.
okay. Someone actually jumped in. Okay, in all fairness, someone jumped in, risked their own life, got him out. He's okay. Everything's fine. So he's okay, so we can joke about it now. It's all right.
He's okay, we can sue him.
No, that's right. That's what we do.
I'm the American here.
We're the suing people here. So they've got some ideas how to get it out. There's they had some ropes, or they thought they could put, if they put bags underneath it, big, and that would inflate. Mm-hmm. And I think all they need to do is get all the hot air that comes from the Rigikogu, and that would be more than enough to inflate this thing and get it up.
Just tell Edgar there are a bunch of votes at the bottom of it. We'll pull it right out.
But here's the thing. And now I did some cross-referencing on other news. They've just opened the ice road, the third ice road, right? Yeah. Now, the ice road is only open from certain hours, and it has a maximum tonnage of 2.5 tons.
Sorry, Edgar.
Is allowed, drive on. Now that you're only allowed to take 2.5 tons on the best ice road in the country. This guy decided to take a 15-ton tractor onto an ice pond in Tallinn.
Smart.
Yeah, I know. This guy's good, right?
He must have been from one of the islands or something. I don't know. I can't imagine someone from Tartu or Tallinn doing that.
Or maybe it was just a pothole.
If he was just driving down the street, he's like, that's fine. Looks like a bit of ice. Just get straight through. It could well be.
Oh, good.
I like this. The scandal. We've got another political scandal going on as well. Yay, we love a good political scandal.
Educate us, Lewis.
It is. Here I am. Why is the Australian educating all of you about the issues in this country? This is a sorry state of affairs.
Because we live in Tartu.
Oh, backward. At least it's not Riga. So the political scandal is the Centre Party, Keskerakond, right? Keskerakond insists that you pay their fees. So if you're part of the party,
who pays their fees?
Right. If you're part of the party and you get into a position of political power, you have to pay them something.
Yeah, you have to pay
5%.
Yeah, 5%.
I thought it'd be like €100 or something, like 150 euros or something like that.
That's way more than 5%.
So you got to pay out. What sort of fucking 2-bit gangster operation is Keskerakond pushing here?
Protection.
How do they keep getting elected? Who votes for them? Have we established that?
I do not know who votes for Keskerakond.
We don't know. We vote for the...
I don't vote for Keskerakond, I vote for Edgar.
They sound like a bunch of gangsters to me, although in fairness, Edgar did say, hey, leave the gangsters out of it. Leave our good friends alone. Okay, leave it. I don't know, it seems like crazy shit, and they're so open about it. Like, there's just... Oh, that's right. And so the way it happened was that, who was the start of this? Prit Tobel again. Right. So what has he done? He sent some emails to Edgar saying these people need to be sacked, because apparently Prit, very good with emails. Yeah. He's all about that, yeah.
He good with computer.
So who is this guy exactly for people listening who don't know?
Prit Tobel, he's the guy from the scandal before, that he had all the printed off emails.
Oh, that scandal?
Yeah, he had another scandal that he's involved in. So they had hacked into the other guy's emails, and he had like 700 pages of emails printed.
I'm just wondering which scandal it is. There's so many. It's like Scandal A, Scandal B, and this one we're talking again about Scandal K.
Because he has experience with scandals.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Oh,
and he knows emails, Prit. He's very good with emails. He send them around. I can print them. I can send them.
Best guy for the job.
He's good. He probably lists on his CV, knows how to use MS Word, Excel. He's got that shit written down there.
If he gives you like one of these kohukas, he's probably hidden a needle in it or something.
All right, guys, we're going to go to another live stand-up clip. This is from the legend himself, Dave Chappelle. This is a guy who had one of the biggest shows on television for 2.5 years, was about to be offered a $55 million renewal contract, and left. And just took off, escaped from public life. And that was 2008,
and where did he go?
2010. He took off to Africa, I think.
He went to Africa for 2 years?
I think so, apparently. Yeah,
why
that's what
didn't
they
he take
say.
the $55 million, then go to Africa and actually help someone?
Yeah, those black guys aren't doing enough to help black guys. That's right. Which they were doing. But Dave Chappelle was on stage in New York this week talking with Chris Rock on stage, saying they might go on tour together. So I wanted to play this clip for you now. This is Dave Chappelle in LA doing some live stand-up. And the thing that you can't... The reason I love this clip as well, that you won't be able to see, obviously, is Dave Chappelle is piss drunk on stage. He cannot even stand up. He's stumbling around, and the guy is still hilarious. So let's go to this clip from Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. Shit is real. Listen, I was looking at the paper the other day. I'm not making this up. There's a serial rapist in Houston. There's nothing funny about serial rape, but what is noteworthy about this particular rapist is that all of his victims have been men. Enjoy your evening. I can't believe you clapped about that. It's a man raping men in Houston. That's the most gangster shit. So far, like 7 men have already come forward in the Houston area and reported this motherfucker, which means he must have raped thousands. That's a tough phone call for us to make. It's not like when you get raped, ladies. There's no... society don't give a fuck about male rape. There's no hotline for us. Man get raped, you just gotta get up and walk that shit off. Got raped. You know. Caught me slipping. You gotta take that shit to the grave. Couldn't even tell my wife some shit like that. Come home, all disheveled and shit. Hey, where have you been? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Out fucking another woman. Just go back to sleep, okay?
Welcome back to Stand Up Comedy with Lewis and Stewart. What we have coming back right now is what?
We have an interview with Sarah Townsend, who is the director of the Eddie Izzard documentary. She, as I said, she came to Riga especially. She's so enthusiastic about this shit. She came to Riga especially for this, and I sat her down and we had a really nice talk about her movie-making process and getting under the skin of Eddie and how to really find out what's going on with this guy.
So this is the interview that you gave with her?
Yep. A couple of days ago in Riga, we recorded in the back room of Splendid Palace. So, yeah, without further ado, it's a bit of a long one. It's about 15 minutes, but I think it's a nice little talk that you might enjoy on your Saturday. Let's go to that. We're here in Riga. We're here in the Splendid Palace Cinema, and I'm with Sarah Townsend, director of the Believe the Eddie Izzard documentary. How are you, Sarah?
I'm very good, thank you.
And we've got a little bit of background music playing in this room here, the ambience. I don't know if you can hear it.
Atmosphere.
It's very nice, that's right. I think, first of all, when we said we're going to have the Eddie Izzard documentary, it's called Believe. The first thing... Justin Bieber, I can't believe he's gone and stolen this whole thing. It's very analogous, really. Eddie Izzard has been doing his thing for 25 or more years, and Justin Bieber hasn't even been alive for 25 years. But he believes, yeah.
I know, but, he's got a very experienced team of PR people around him going, we've got to give him some credibility. What should we do? Let's look among the indie stuff and see what we can find. Oh, that's a good idea. It even matches his name. Let's have it.
Flattery is the height. There's the imitation, the height of flattery.
Yeah.
And Justin Bieber's got that. But we're here to talk about... So we're here in Riga tonight because we've got the screening of the documentary. Yeah. And we're so impressed that you came out here to Riga just to see this. Like, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to do it in Riga. And you were just like, I'm there. I'm there. What is that motivation? What is that?
That's indie films for you. You turn up, you do the festivals, you turn up, you promote it, you keep going and going and going
and going.
That's
it, grinding away.
Absolutely, because that's just the nature of, this kind of business. If you've made an indie movie, then you have to stay behind it the whole way because you're so hands-on. You don't have a massive studio doing all of that stuff. So you've just got to get out there and keep pushing it because if you don't, it won't happen. It's like the movie wouldn't have got made if I hadn't done all the different bits. So it's like. It's normal for people in my position. That's how it is.
Get out there and be speaking in front of
I've got lots of wonderful filmmaker friends, and they all have to do it.
Right. Okay. That's part and parcel. To sell your product once you've made it.
Yeah.
When did what was the inspiration for the movie? Where would you say was the birth? Was the conception of the movie? Was there some idea, or you had the idea already? Thought the idea like that?
Yeah, I had directed theatre for years, and I wanted to move across to film, and I didn't quite know how. And I remember I started doing a series of courses, and it always comes back to the same thing, like writing. Anything, write what you know, direct what you know, make what you know.
Sure.
And I thought, well, maybe this would be the time to. Because I was thinking, what can I make a documentary on? That would be a good way of learning and transferring the skills that I already had into something more technical. Because film directing is so much more technical than theatre directing.
Okay, sure. If you just do something, you be more emotional. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's not just that you're in the room and you can do it live, and you can position people, and you can go stand up in that box, and you stand in front of them, and three of you stand and your head's over there to the right, and and you can do that. You can physically be present. Whereas with film, so much of it is technical. If you don't get it right and you don't get what you needed, it's extremely difficult. Which is why documentary is a great form, because you can learn how to do those things, even though you're actually following somebody. And so it was a process of learning, really, and also. I thought, Eddie would be a good story, but it actually was a lot more difficult than
you came to see for this project.
Yeah.
What was the process like? What was the sort of maybe not the idea, but from the start to end, how long did that take to film this?
Oh God, from beginning to end, it must have been about 5 years. The actual filming was over a couple of years.
Okay.
But you see, the thing is, when you start off, you have to do everything, get a budget, get a plan. You think you're going to shoot one thing, then with documentaries, you never end up with what you thought you were going to get.
Okay.
Eddie is particularly difficult because, he's not this crazy wild rock and roll person on stage. No, you're not. It's not like if you stay as a fly on the wall documentary, you're going to get him puking in a bathtub and smacking people in the head. It's not going to happen because he's actually quite grown up on stage. So that actually can be very difficult to portray in a way that is interesting for an hour and a half. It might be interesting for half an hour, but as a kind of a comment, but it's not.
But did you have that plan from the beginning?
No, because I wasn't aware at that stage just how difficult it was going to be to make the story have a trajectory.
Because you knew Eddie very well still, but still you didn't quite know.
Well, I had all the early part because we'd worked together in those years, so I knew all of that. But that only gives you a certain piece. It's then what happens. So in the end, when I realised that actually it was never going to be about what Eddie was going to say himself. In fact, without the revelation about his mother, we wouldn't have had a movie, and that took years to get him to say what. I mean, it actually I had to give him an ultimatum. I said, look, we're going to wrap in 2 weeks because we haven't got what
so
we
you're
needed.
Already filming the movie. You're like, we're doing something about Eddie.
Yeah, with a documentary.
Even still, it's difficult for him to open up about this.
Yeah, and people think because he's so open on stage that he'd be open off stage, and the reverse is the case.
Absolutely,
he will. He will talk and talk and talk and talk, and you realise at the end of it, he hasn't really got anything.
Inside, what's in the heart,
So when he realised that, we had kind of given up and we were just going to make a much shorter, much more superficial thing, just racing through the facts and going, there you go, there's a biography. I think he sort of went, oh my God, I've got to do it now or I'm never, all this is not going to happen. And then he suddenly came out with that, and we were sitting in the room. It was the same team that I'd had all along. And we just kind of looked at each other and went, oh my God.
Talking about his mother. And was this because there's that scene where he goes back to his the childhood home with the lady who's living there now? Was that at that time, or was that already filmed before?
That was already filmed. Okay, but we still never got that solid
the
piece.
Real
thing
thing
where
he just sure, because that's the key thing that defines his life and his desire for attention and so forth is the death of his mother.
Yeah, but what we wanted to do was relate all the different pieces of material throughout his life to, this happened and here it is in a funny version. Okay, but it wasn't as simple as that. So I think the idea is that we'll do a companion piece that actually does funny stuff with little links.
Right.
So much more what people wanted in the first place, but then they ended up with something that really had heart. And so I think
you can definitely see that when you're watching the film. So we're talking like. We see the household home, and then we're off to my dad's with the mower and the three things in the mower thing. So I can definitely see how you related the funny thing to that, and I can appreciate that as a comic. You just you take something that was in your life, but then you're like, let's make a funny punchline at the end of it. It's not.
Yeah, you deal with stuff by making it funny, which is I think we all do that, don't we? It's just interesting when someone does it publicly. You can, and then when you watch something like someone's process, you can learn something about yourself, I think, and about and validate some of your own ways of dealing with stuff.
Sure. Do you think that's it? When we see a comedian being so honest, we think maybe I can be honest.
Well, I think you normalise yourself, don't you? You hear people talking about stuff that you think, I thought that. Do you know what? I think that too. And that's why you laugh with recognition, don't you?
Sure, that is the recognition laugh. That's
the observation stuff is great because we all go, oh, I know that feeling. I thought I was the only person who thought that. It's okay to be mad at the next person in the queue for the supermarket or something. Yeah, sure. Because half these other people are probably feeling the same. So it's nice. That's a great thing about comedy. It makes you less isolated. I think, No,
I definitely agree. That Eddie does very well. That we relate to him very well. But then he's a because I think we talk a lot with our comedians in Comedy Estonia about the way that you can have recognition and surprise.
Yeah.
And this is two ways that you can get a laugh. And that there's recognition is a good way to build something up, but then ultimately the laugh comes from surprise. When you take something, you make something absolutely batshit crazy at the end of all of that.
Yeah, you just take and you twist that.
Right, that's the twist. So we got recognition, with you, and then surprise, and you're like, and that's what Eddie does very well. Now, when was the film finally finished? That was, 2 years ago or something?
It was 2009 it was released, so it was finished the year before, but it took a year and a half to edit.
Okay, and is that the way of indie films, that it's more... A Hollywood blockbuster is like... now we've got all the cinemas, but an indie film is like more of a slow build after it's done, that you're getting out there and...
It's more standard for a documentary, especially if it's a full-length feature as opposed to just, an hour's TV. Because with indie movies, you get a bit of money, then you get no money, and then a bit of money, so it's very start-stop.
Yeah, okay.
Also, you don't know what you're going to get, because no one ever knows with a documentary whether they're going to get what they originally went in for. You never do. That's you have to go in with a premise and go, right, this is what I'm going to film this about. Okay, and then of course your subject will go and do something completely different. Then you go, right, okay, shit, what do we do now? And then you start again, and you start with a new premise, and then that doesn't work. And it happened a lot with this one.
Yeah. Is your observations of Eddie, and he's a very big star in the world today, is it an abstract world that he lives in? That all the people are there to help him, and people are following him with cameras? I don't know if you can have some comment on this, like from your observation of following him with the camera. Does it become quite abstract for the comedian after a while, the world that he gets on a plane and goes somewhere, it's a business class flight, and then it's a nice hotel, and then... Or do the best ones have a way of remaining in reality? I'm not even quite sure what my question is here, but just this idea that when you're very big, the reality becomes quite separate for you.
I think, because I do have several friends who have become very successful also, and I think... of all of them, I think Eddie's managed to keep his feet on the ground the most, but there is inevitably, in that situation, a degree of removal from, normality. But I think you have to make a big, big effort to keep your feet on the ground, and I think he really tries. Other people, not so much. Other friends, not so much. They don't make that effort. They kind of get used to, and it's such a lot.
I think it's a very appealing thing.
It's a lot of effort because you're not presented with it, so you have to actually actively seek it out. But that's one thing that the internet's great for.
Right.
If you realise that you must do that and you keep doing it, you can keep in touch with what's going on in the world and remember, what things cost and how, what people are going through on an everyday basis.
Sure, and I love, particularly with Eddie, because it was really Eddie and Eddie's management that even reached out to us. I would love to say that I'm an amazing promoter that hassled and did a lot of work to bring Eddie's tea, which we have, but it was initially Eddie's agency, Mick Perrin Agency, that reached out to us and said, Eddie wants to come out here, and that, all right, let's do it. And that, I guess, endeared us to Eddie, that he's like, oh, really? He wants to come here?
Well, that's something that we covered in the movie when we did the France thing. That was always, as he says,
okay, yeah, sure.
His aim was to be able to play all over Europe and ultimately all over the world. And so that's why we put that a bit in there, where you see him sort of struggle from not being able, not being very fluent,
do you think that
to being much more
humanises our protagonist in the documentary, that we see him really struggling in French?
Yes, I think it does. I think it's important to realise that it didn't just happen. And, we tend to see things when they're already a fait accompli, and that you can't empathise with that in terms of actually a story. You have to see someone struggle to get it. You have to see someone get it wrong.
Right, as we see in the
and
documentary,
stay there.
He's doing these workshops all the time, and we see him, like, in the first half going, I don't really know.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just always looking at the end product, and it's not as interesting, I think.
Right, yeah, sure. I mean, that's behind the scenes. That's what we're going to do. But I think it's the struggle that defines, I think, often for a comic, when you start struggling on the stage, but then you make something out of that.
Well, when you see it as a challenge, I think, which was definitely the essence of what I was attempting to show, that he would see that as a kind of, right, I'll do this, where most comedians now, at his level, would have writers, just because of the sheer amount of work and travel that it involves. Which he doesn't. So what I was trying to show was that he was the one that's sitting there, not with a writing partner or somebody in the background. It was just him and a piece of paper, sweating it out.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Because it's interesting. It's interesting to see.
Absolutely, I think to see the struggle through the documentary is, for me as a comedian, entirely interesting. That he's fucking doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, I have no second half. And I'm like, I might not have 5 minutes as a comedian. I'm like, okay, I can do something. He's got like no second half. I'm like, oh my God, and he does that. That's his thing.
Well, I think also he started off with this idea that he would improvise whole shows, and of course, ultimately, that is, you need. There comes a point where, I mean, it's a wonderful thing at the beginning when you have nothing to live up to, but once you've reached a certain point, people expect more, but to achieve it, you have to do all that much more, and it's difficult. It's difficult.
How is it, as a documentary maker, opposed to a regular filmmaker, to be there and stick a camera in someone's face? Because that's documentary, right? To be there, like, do you feel awkward?
Yeah.
Are you doing that? Okay.
Yeah. It's very difficult. I find it particularly difficult. Now, there are documentary makers I know who are really good at that, and they just switch off, and it doesn't bother them.
Right, no problem.
But because documentary, I don't feel, was ever the thing I always wanted to do. Excuse me. It was a means to an end, and so it was a means to learn techniques, because really I'm more drawn to fiction, and my next project will be fiction. But it's kind of interesting because I think as a result, your whole idea is you plan the script, you write the story, you go in and then you shoot what you planned, which is a normal film.
Movie, yeah, sure.
Or a studio film. With a documentary, it's not like that at all.
Right.
Because you're completely at the mercy of what happens. Excuse me. Yeah. As a documentary maker, you're completely at the mercy of what happens in that moment, and whatever weird chance may happen. Now, that can be very fortuitous and really exciting, but you're living on the edge the whole time.
Because you said at the beginning you weren't sure of the angle to take with Eddie. In the end, you said it was the motivation angle, the belief, as the title says, that...
Well, we thought, I think, that... we thought there would be much more on-the-road interesting stuff. But when we looked at it, it was also very professional.
He's quite a nice guy,
Yeah, and quite tame in terms of, you want something terrible to happen. You want
He's flipping out. He's like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or you want him to lose his temper, or you want him to... You want something. That's what you expect, Or, the dark side of, or whatever. And they're really... He's just a professional doing what he does, and he works very hard in a political way. So, although that's all very admirable, it's a bit useless for a filmmaker.
Right. So how did you find that angle in the end?
Sheer desperation.
Nice.
I had tried everything else, and then in the end I thought, just try and get an overview, get bigger than the whole thing, and then see it in context of the world, and stop trying to see it in context of just one individual. And then suddenly it seemed obvious that it was about, I don't know if you have them here, Weebles, these toys that, they're like eggs, and you knock them down. Weebles, there used to be this slogan, Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Right.
And they were like little egg heads, and you do like that, and I'm doing it on the desk here. So it would fall down, and then it would just go boing and spring back up again.
And that's Eddie. He's resilient. Sheer determination.
So that was the joke between me and the DP. We went, right, that's what it'll be. And then it became about illustrating that, because that, in the end, became obvious was the most extraordinary thing about Eddie, where most people will go into a big depression or become unable to function, or they'll get into substance abuse of one kind or another. And around the stand-up circuit, that certainly was very very, very normal. What made it interesting as a documentary, but wasn't there with Eddie, was no substance abuse. It was actually just this sheer, I will not let them
But
beat
that's what
me.
we see in the documentary.
Yeah.
We see this sheer, I will not. But does he have moments of, not depression, but of self-doubt and of these...
Well, if he does, we never got them on camera.
Really? Okay.
Not once.
Wow. Okay.
Not once.
So it's just this infallible, just amazing belief that what we're doing is a good thing. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think the conclusion that we came to, and certainly I came to in terms of the story, was that what happened with the death of his mother to him, combined with that personality, made him able to withstand things that ordinary, up and down kind of a bit depressive comedian's performance would go, whoa! Whereas it just solidified his complete refusal to give in. It's like absolutely extraordinary. And then I suddenly thought, well, that's unique. That's the unique story.
So,
but it was weird coming to it after all, using all the usual channels. And then suddenly going... And then suddenly going, well, actually, that is it. And in fact, everyone can draw a degree of... it actually made it more universal. Everyone can draw
that is a
comfort
very
from
universal, because we all do something and we're like, oh, no, it's not good. No, I'm not.
But then you look at somebody, who uniquely, it seems to me, can just go, fuck it, I'm not going to let it beat me. And you go, right, well, I'm not going to either then. And it's that's
inspiration,
that's really positive. So in the end, I'm very happy that it went that way. It was a struggle.
Very good. Sarah Townsend, we have to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for coming to Raadio and coming to the Baltics to visit us.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Really glad I came. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good.
Welcome back to...
Let's just go with it. Oh my God, we're doing that speaking at the same time thing.
I know, it's contagious.
Oh, we can't help it. We're here. We're wrapping up. What was going on in the studio before?
There's like a group of school kids here, and they all went into one of the other recording studios, and they left their bags in the common room where I was sitting, and the telephone started ringing in one of their bags, and I was so tempted to answer and say, like, I have your child. If you want him back, stop calling this phone.
You probably want to keep the iPhone as well. All kids got iPhones these days. Just pinch that, teach little fucker a lesson.
Start putting little Comedy Estonia things on milk cartons. Like, have you seen this? If you see this comedian, call the police. He's really bad.
We got to wrap it up. Guys, thanks for coming along now. How can people find more information about you?
In Facebook.
Yeah, sure.
Just type in Improkraatia.
Improkraatia.
Okay, very good pronunciation.
Use the internet.
Like Improkraatia in English.
Okay.
And we have our own homepage also.
Okay. Improkraatia.e
Right,
or
excellent.
improkraatia.com.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, you guys are so good. Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to see you back at the Maku open mics again.
Yeah, actually, we're going this summer to Chicago.
Nice. Yeah. Sweet boys, very good effort.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming
Thanks
to the show.
for coming along.
Good to have you.
Good.
Okay.
Tonight, I am about to go jump in the car and go back to Tallinn because we have the Noku open mic. So we've got like 12 comedians all getting up. We've got Eric Seufert coming along. Santa's going to be there. The whole thing. Superman is going to be there. Headlining the show. I'll be hosting the show as typical. That starts at 8 o'clock. It's free entry in Noku in Tallinn. What are you doing tonight, Stu?
I don't know.
No, that's right. Good times in Tartu. Okay, sorry, leave it all around. And of course, don't forget, Wednesday is Eddie Izzard in Tallinn, the main event. There's still some tickets available if you get in quick. So come along. I'm sure that's going to be a legendary night. Stewart, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lewis.
All right, we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.